Hello, hello, and welcome back to Death Stranding. Things have been eventful in these last couple episodes. Let's go ahead and go pee-pee poo-poo and shower and all of that. Touch up our equipment, get ready for maneuvering about. Take a shower. There we go. Hey Lou, you doing good, bud? I love you, Lou. I love you, Lou. So in real life, I have a baby niece who's about to be turning 2, who I live with my brother and my niece. And I was downstairs in between episodes getting a drink, and she's so funny, she's so smart. As I'm leaving, she swings her head around, die, or when she tries to say bye, she goes, die, die, and then she starts bringing her hand to her mouth, mwah, 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 trying to blow me kisses. I'm just like, oh, this kid is so fucking cute, I can't handle it. She's the sweetest thing in the world. Alright, let's touch up our other bag a little. I want to replace the cover. Everything else I'm okay with. Confirm. Okay. We need to give them some of our beryllium. I figured that would be the case. I just dump a big stack on them. And we'll grab it back on our way out. And of course we can make it volcanic orange now if we wanted to. Cool. Alright. Alright. Let's get crunked. And then crunchy crunch. So I'm gonna start throwing out questions to chat. So I now am at the point where I can unlock the next area of the game. Should I just go ahead and do that? Or should I go and try and talk to all the people I haven't talked to yet? My plan is to go and talk to all the people I haven't talked to yet and see if I can unlock them. But if it makes more sense for me to go on and then come back here later, let me know. But I feel like it would make more sense to just get this area done first. The Geologist, Chiral Nightmares. Dear Sam, thanks to you, the chiral contamination's all cleared up. Nasty symptoms, though. Dizziness, headaches, insomnia. At first I was worried it was down to my isolation in this shelter and the intense focus on my research for the past year. But it got real bad when the nightmares started. I saw the end of the world. A portal to the beach opening and BTs pouring through by the thousands. Oh, that sounds bad. Oh, that sounds not good. There was nowhere to run, no time, and they began scooping us up one by one. And then the void outs came, bigger and bigger, until a massive one, or several massive ones, enveloped the whole world. And poof, just like that. When I told Hartman about it, he likened it to visions of the extinction doom sufferers tend to experience. It's strange, though. After all, we now have incontrovertible proof that Chiralium is far from the recent addition to our world. Anyway, that's a problem for a different day. And the important thing is that I'm cured, and it's all thanks to you. The Spiritualist. The chiral network connects people, past and present. How are you, Sam? In good health and good spirits, I hope. I have to say, the chiral network is quite impressive. Ever since you hooked the shelter up, my life has become more exciting. I've been able to procure all sorts of goods that I had never seen before, and I've noticed quite a number of new structures going up nearby as well. I should also mention that I managed to unearth some old research data that may offer some insight into some of the more unusual phenomenon you might have experienced firsthand. I'm sure you have vivid recollection of the many experiences in the scene, vivid recollection of your many experiences in the seam. But it turns out that the person wandering around it that you may have identified as yourself may not be you at all, but someone else entirely. You see, while everyone's belief belongs to them and them alone, the seam is an altogether different beast. I've read about people who had near-death experiences that involved the seam. When they came across someone else there, they found themselves somehow saved by them in the real world. They'd even receive small care packages and the like in some instances. Remarkable, you'd agree? You might even say that the chiral network bridges the gap between this world and that in more ways than we realize. Now, I still don't know who this someone else actually is. The fact that they're in the seam, though, would suggest that someone who's died, wouldn't it? Someone from the past? So in essence, the past is intervening to keep the present alive. It's comforting to think that it's not just some BT and other scary stuff that come over from the other side. Maybe the chiral network can help us reconnect with more benevolent beings and positive forces from the past as well. If I may, Sam, I'd also you could keep an eye out for the mysterious someone from the past next time you visit the seam, could you? I'm curious what the fuck she's talking about, but I don't think I have the context. Alright, some Hartman research. Oh yeah, giant BTs. Neanderthals are not extinct. Hartman, 3 years ago. Bridges HQ. Both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens are believed to share a common ancestor in the form of Homo heidelbergensis. Forgive me for mispronunciations. But there are clear differences between the two. Neanderthals are brutish and brawny, well equipped to hunt large animals, and survive in colder climates, whereas Homo sapiens were slender-limbed and only capable of hunting smaller prey. But, as a millennial passed, Homo sapiens learned to create tools and hunt in packs. Neanderthals, who actually had larger brains than the Homo sapien, also fashioned tools of their own. But these were crude in comparison, and developed a little over 200,000 years. Perhaps because these simple-minded beings favored small family units, so that even if a breakthrough occurred, it was unlikely to be shared with others. This isolation, more than any other factor, seems to have led to their decline. Homo sapiens, meanwhile, conceived religions, with which large numbers of individuals could be bound together in service to a common cause. Strength in numbers also made their communities more resistant to famine and other calamities. In other words, Homo sapiens grew stronger through interpersonal connections by creating what we came to call society. If we persist in our divided state, we risk losing the hard-won unity and dooming ourselves to the Neanderthal's fate. We will dwindle and die, apart and alone, but history books hold another intriguing lessons. Homo sapiens did not disdain Neanderthals. The two species even intermingled on occasion. Our DNA retains vestiges of our ancestors' cousins even now. So you see, while species itself may disappear, its genetic legacy may yet endure. Hartman's theory on evolution. Hartman, 1 year ago. Hartman's lab. The evolution of life on Earth could be described as an evolution of consciousness. When the first vertebrates clambered out of the ocean and onto land, their consciousness expanded to process process the new realm that lay before them. But the development did not end there. Their eyes moved from their flanks to their fronts, that they might comprehend the depth of the world. Mammals formed groups, increasing their chances of survival. Eventually, they came together in communities, and then larger societies. In order to preserve and maintain these structures, humans developed a perception of time, and in order for societies to outlast the lifespan of individuals, we conceived of an afterlife, a future beyond ourselves. Alas, the Death Stranding threatens to undo all our progress. Consider the chiral network, which incorporates the beach, where time does not exist. Or consider the timefall, which rapidly accelerates the degradation that which it comes into contact with. How can our sense of time, honed over millions of years, remain intact when we must cope with such irrational phenomenon? Yet, that is but the tip of the proverbial iceberg. We are growing apart, retreating into isolation, gradually losing our place within society. I wouldn't go so far as to say our conception of reality are under threat. How could they not be, when our very eyes deny the invisible BT that stands before us? Excuse me. The Stranding has warped our consciousness in every sense. If the evolution of life on Earth is indeed akin to the evolution of consciousness, then what is happening now is excuse me, is undeniably a regression, is it not? There is one caveat, of course. Some of us are now far more aware of death than we ever were. That is what Dooms has given us. For me, therefore, Dooms is not merely a biological change. I prefer to think of it as the means by which I have achieved a new form of consciousness. Furthermore, I hope and believe that this new awareness of the other side is humanity's trump card as we seek to defeat the Death Stranding. Umbilical cords in the Devonian-era fossils. Hartman, 3 months ago. Hartman's lab. An article from old scientific journals was recently brought to my attention. It predates the Death Stranding and concerns the discovery of a 380 million year old fossil, one from the Devonian era. To give the period its proper name, it was a fossil of a fish, and in its womb was a child connected to the mother by an umbilical cord, no less. The species, Master Pisces Antenburgi. Forgive my pronunciation. It's a pachyderm, an extinct class of armored marine creature that used to live in the seas the world over. Unfortunately, most were wiped out during the Devonian era, right around the time of the second of the Big Five, in fact. As you may be aware, one of the key foci of my research is the link between creatures with umbilical cords and mass extinctions. Once this area is connected to the chiral network, it is my hope that we will be able to piece together more data that will help us learn about the link between umbilical cords and the Death Stranding. Interview with the geologist. The geologist, 1 year ago. Personal shelter. I remember it was just before I joined the expedition when I found the documents in Bridges HQ. Research papers that predate the Death Stranding. People used to believe that dinosaurs had long gone extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. But when this fellow investigated various locations where late Cretaceous dino fossils had been found, he came to a startling conclusion, that there was hardly any evidence anywhere on Earth to support the theory that the the dinosaurs had survived to the end of the Cretaceous. In other words, almost all of them had been wiped out long before that. The only place where there were fossils that did support the traditional theory were in North America, which suggested that this was the last part of the Earth to have been inhabited by dinosaurs. Not everyone agreed with the analysis of the time, but let's say he had it right. That would mean that there is evidence of a mass extinction hidden here, right beneath our feet. Evidence which could prove invaluable to understanding the one on the horizon. Did the dinosaurs who happened to live here just get lucky? Or is there something special about this place that allowed them to survive? America! Fuck yeah! I'd love to get to the bottom of it, but I'm not sure I have what it takes. I'm not like Hartman. I don't have dooms or any other unique traits. Still, I want to make myself useful. I want to research the Stranding and help uncover the truth behind it. That's why I joined the expedition team, after all. Interview with the paleontologist. The paleontologist, 1 year ago. Personal shelter. In the period since the very first forms of life arose here on Earth, the planet has witnessed a number of mass extinctions. And as you're no doubt aware, the most significant of these are known as the Big Five. The first marked the end of the... Oh god, I'm gonna fuck up so many of these. Oligocavarian period. While the next, at the end of the Divian period, wiped out almost all marine life. But the third of these extinctions, at the end of the Primarian period around 250 million years ago, was even worse. 96% of all marine organisms and 70% of the land organisms died as a result. The fourth extinction finished off most large reptiles, though the dinosaurs managed to hold off until the fifth came along, and at the end of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. We humans evolved, from the small mammals which managed to survive this particular catastrophe. Each of these five extinctions resulted from enormous changes in the natural environment. Species which were unable to adapt to these changes perished, while those which were ideally suited to evolve and thrive did just that. Evidence from the records which predate the Death Stranding indicate that many scholars believed the sixth mass extinction was on its way, or it may have already begun. There was something of a consensus regarding the cause as well: humans' disregard for the environment. This led them to sound the alarm, warning that the world was at stake. At the time, the greatest minds of the era believed that if the ecosystem could be preserved, and if humanity could learn to live in harmony with nature, then the future could be secured for all of the world's species, humans included. But that was then, and this is now. If the phenomenon we are currently experiencing is indeed the sixth extinction, then it must be acknowledged that humanity is its main target. Is this divine punishment for our misdeeds? If so, then I suppose there is little that can be done. Perhaps there's no way forward for humanity now. Nevertheless, I refuse to give up. I will endeavor to find hope in our predicament. Interview with the Evo Devo biologist. The Evo Devo biologist, 1 year ago. Personal shelter. I was born after the Death Stranding, so my conception of what the world was is derived entirely from documents, photographs, and videos. We didn't used to have timefall, for one, just regular rain, no chiral clouds, only the traditional masses of suspended moisture, and one certainly didn't have to worry about tar bubbling up from the underground in most locales. Humans could travel anywhere, even into space, and we were blissfully unaware of the beach's existence. Suffice it to say, there's no doubt that this is a period of sweeping change that will have lasting repercussions for all life on Earth. Given that, dooms may simply be humanity's way of trying to adapt and survive. God, what is happening with the thing? A beach exists within the consciousness of every individual. These environmental changes, they affect all life on the genetic level, do they not? That is why I thought to investigate them, and the medium through which I chose to do so is the tar, which has become so ubiquitous. But you're not interested in that. I am sure. Game? Jesus. Why? So, you know, there's a very real possibility that we have already failed to adapt to the sixth extinction. That we are but another evolutionary dead end, and is soon to be left behind. If that is the case, then it could be reasoned that one's affliction with doom, or that the ones afflicted with dooms, and therefore blessed with an enhanced perception of the beach, are our successors, who will survive and supplant us. I suppose that would be my god, it's all clicking. He wants to trigger an extinction of those who don't have dooms. He could be Die Hard Man or the other dude. I'm blanking on his name. Whoever the bad guy is, and I really struggle to know which one of them it is, wants to end humanity and let the dooms rise up. Maybe it's both of them. Maybe they're both pieces of shit. Blessed with an enhanced perception of the beach, our successors will survive to supplant us. I suppose that would be a shame, but it doesn't trouble me that much. My research will survive, me as well, and the doomed sufferers can pick up where I left off. They will carry my genetic lineage too, for that matter. No, what worries me is that not even dooms will prove sufficient to endure this extinction. If that is the case, then humanity is doomed. It's certainly a possibility we have to acknowledge. But more than that, one question looms above all. Why? Why now? Why like this? That's what I want to know more than anything. Somehow I doubt the dinosaurs and all the other species that came and went ever considered that question. Worrying over the reason for this and that is uniquely human condition, I suppose. Yet this idle curiosity may be the key to understanding and overcoming the stranding. Hello, Mock Cryptid. I'm just reading all of the journal entries we've unlocked. Tar bubbles up from the beach, Aaron Hill, 1 year ago, Mountain Knot City. I've heard this area was pretty inhospitable before I got here. Got your fair share of mountains, obviously, and on top of that, there were all these rumors about secret terrorist bases or something, so I figured I was in for a bad time. When me and the team got here, yeah, it was way worse than what we thought. Felt like we were getting jumped any second, you know? Or we could get jumped any second, you know? I tell you what, though, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw all the tar out west. Wondered how the hell Amelie and her team made it through. But somehow, getting tongue-tied. But someone said it wasn't nearly as bad as when they made the trip. I was sent to take a closer look, and man, it was something else. And it hadn't been that long either. Hard to imagine all the bubbling up damn near overnight. Honestly, it felt like I was standing on the edge of the world. We don't know much about the tar, except that it wasn't around before the stranding, same as the timefall on Chiralium. There's some speculation that it might be some byproduct of the beach, and that if you could somehow retrace the flow, you'd end up there. But that's all theoretical stuff. Right now, we've got practical problems to deal with. One of the chiral relays we built is at risk of going under them at any moment. We don't have the manpower to relocate it yet, but we should once the second expedition shows up. Whether we can wait that long is another question, though. Maybe you could tell them to get their asses in gear if you get the chance. I think... Alright, that's everything read. And yeah, we unlocked songs. Alright, well, that was cool and a lot of reading. And I apologize to YouTube crowd, but yeah. That was a whole episode of just us reading the journal. So, come back tomorrow for more. Hope you've all enjoyed this episode. End cards appearing in a moment. Love y'all very, very much, and ta-ta for now. Don't worry, we'll do more deliveries next time. Bye.